Would you think it would be fair that, say, a 1973 pub bombing in Guildford, I could go and do an investigation in that pub? Would that be all right?
Why can't you?
Huh?
Can you?
Yeah.
Will they let you do that?
They would, yeah.
Oh, right.
But would that be seen as being okay?
It's, as I said when we first started this kind of conversation, it's a difficult situation.
But it's that point. It's almost that point of saying, right, you know, because to me, when you look at that, because that sort of problem seems to be almost over. You know, that sort of terrorist thing that we had.
But it's not over for the families.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that by talking about it, you talk about that seems almost acceptable to go to a pub in Guildford that might be haunted by something else as well, and maybe you'll pick up, you know, a couple of dead people who were killed by the IRA. It seems to be more acceptable than doing 9/11 or doing Auschwitz.
I don't know. I think it's one of those topics, isn't it, that's going to be just going to go kind of round and round in circles, because everybody can kind of throw in their own two penneth worth, as it were.
I think, you know, and it's just come to me, I think it's more the point of if one set of people are allowed to do it, it's open to fraud for other people. You know, we've had this conversation about ghost groups before, and can you imagine that people who are right, who are good, who are above board, who want to do this for the right reasons, they would go there and do it respectfully, they would do it for the right reason, but how many would follow? And completely abuse that specific situation.
Yeah, no, again, that's one of the dangers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because that, you know, that would upset a heck of a lot of people.
But again, you look at Auschwitz. It's another one of those places I'm surprised there aren't more ghost sightings there. Well, there are ghost sightings, but you think that the hundreds of thousands of people that were killed, brutally killed and brutally treated, why aren't there more?
Question for you, Mr. Beattie. You're talking about, right at the beginning of the kind of programme, ghost stories that affected people. Have you got any specific ghost stories that affected you? Or incidents?
I don't think it's specifics. The few that always chill me are the ones where people are walled up or left somewhere. I think one of the ones that are the most horrific, I think, abuse of human rights as such was Culzean Castle. Not Culzean Castle. Is it? No, which one in Ireland with a
Charleville Forest.
No, it's Culzean's in Scotland, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the other one? Lep Castle.
Lep Castle, yes.
With with basically the dungeon with a spike at the bottom of it. And in the 1800s, they actually, you know, allegedly took out 3 cartloads of human bones from this one place, and and apparently they found a Victorian watch down there. So someone at some point died more recently than the 500 years ago we think that happened. But to think there was actually a place. Now imagine if there are 3 cartloads of bones, how many bodies would have been there? And they weren't all down there together. So people would have been thrown down the oubliette. And basically, for anyone who doesn't know, an oubliette it means to be forgotten. And it's just a huge well type thing, quite often with a spike at the bottom. It was designed for people to break their arms, legs or back and die very painfully just by being forgotten. And this one was actually ran through the whole of the castle. So they would hear people enjoying themselves, eating and getting the smells of cooking while they were starving to death. Or having been impaled on this thing, they may have died straight away, which was the only good way of going. But 3 cartloads of bones. So the last person on top of that probably wouldn't have died of being hit, but would have been stood on rotting corpses. That bothers me. To think that one human being has thought that's right to treat another human being in that way. I don't. It frightens me because that's not a history thing. There are still people. There must be people around today that would still think that's all right. If people thought it was all right then, there will be people today who think it's still right. But ghostly phenomena. I mean, one of the things that I always get about this. This is why I know we've gone off track a little bit about talking about crisis and all these awful acts. that create the dead, that create the lost spirits as such. But how do we catch them? I mean, we're all in the business of investigating paranormal activity. Is all of these things that we've got, like our digital cameras, our infrared cameras, are they more for other people to believe what we've seen, or are they for us to re-investigate what we think we've seen?
Yeah, so again, that's another good question. Are we kind of using those kind of pieces of equipment to help us explain what we've seen, or are we using them for other purposes? I mean, it always amazes me how people seem to catch things on digital camera more than film camera. And again, you kind of got to ask yourself, is that due to the manufacture of the equipment and how it's manufactured? With the point where they're seeing it on digital and rather film camera, they're on 35mm film camera. And again, there are different kind of views to what a ghost or paranormal activity is. Can it actually be captured on camera in the first place? So,
but this is the thing. I mean, I know you must have it as well in your investigation, where we take loads of photographs with a digital camera, and the orb issue always comes up. And I remember when we first started, I mean, crying, we'd make a whole show out of the fact we saw an orb, and because we were told, again, we were all learning, as you all have to in this thing, because it's very rare that people will come out and help you. You have to almost find out yourself a lot of the time. And we saw these, and we were told they were the first manifestation of a ghost. And as time's gone by, we've learned to discredit a lot of it as dust and and insects. But I remember a very excited Stuart Torrell running in to a room where Yvette and I were doing an investigation, and it was in Series 1. And he literally came. You could hear him come running up the stairs with his camera, and he barged through the door, and I'm like, he goes, guys, we've just seen orbs. And but all of us gathered round his camera. It was like, no way, we've seen orbs. And we're looking at these things thinking they are the first manifestation of a ghost. Who knows, they might have been, we don't know. But it's that excitement of seeing it, but then you kind of go, oh, well, actually, a lot of it is dust. But then again, do we discredit too much? Put it to one side and go, it's dust. And it could actually be the first manifestation of a ghost.
It's not all dust though, is it? Some of them are shaped. I mean, the ones that drift along.
You're looking for an intelligent response, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because I know we caught some great stuff at your house, didn't we, with those...
No, the club.
Oh, was it the club? Oh, yes, it came down the stairs, isn't it? But we're going to carry on talking about that after the break. So please don't go away, and we'll be right back.